50% of men regret choosing the woman that they have married.
Now, hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen, because I got a story time for y'all. So, this is last year. Yeah, last year. Either that or the beginning of the year. A friend of mine and I decided to go have some drinks. She was already there. I basically went, grabbed some food, and ended up sitting at this table. There were two gentlemen sitting across. It's kind of like a living room kind of setting type area, you know what I'm talking about? Because there's like chairs and there's like a couch. So I decided to sit on the couch, and I asked the gentleman, because there was nobody there, and I was like, hey, do you mind? He said no. Two gentlemen. They're doing their thing. I make friends with the wall, okay? My grandma used to say, China doesn't know a stranger. They didn't lie about that. I don't know strangers. I talk to damn near everybody. Anyway, so I'm sitting there. He asked me, like, one of the gentlemen asked me what I did. We were just having, like, very harmless, interaction with freaking strangers. There was no flirting, none of that involved. My friend came and sat down next to me. I proceeded to ask a question. I said, do you mind me asking, I see that you're married, right? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, do you mind me asking, what made you marry your wives? And, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to hear this beautiful love story. I couldn't live without her. Wrong. One of the gentlemen proceeds to tell me, God bless her. I don't know this woman, and I didn't know him from I never met this man. I didn't know him from Adam. He proceeds to dog walk this woman. He proceeds to talk so bad about her to people he had never met. He said, and I quote, I got tired of looking. I.e., I'm hearing, oh, so you just got, like, you didn't want to evolve, you didn't want to be better. But he said, I got tired of looking. He said, I molded my wife to the person she is now. She was his assistant. He said, I got her when she was 20. She was my assistant, and she became everything I needed. He said, my house is clean, my laundry's done, my kids are fed. That's all I needed. She became what I needed. He said, I'm not in love with her. I love her. Of course I love her, but I'm not in love with her. He said, she's not even my type. He said, she is a basic looking woman. There's nothing special about her. He said, my type and what I'm attracted to, I still do what I do on the side. And me and my friend are like, what? He says all of this to two women he has never met ever. And this is all based on the conversation of me asking, what made you marry your wife? That right there changed my whole entire perspective of the reason people get married. Completely. I will never be the same because of that conversation. I thank that man, because wow.
So, I saw this. I did not watch the entire video. This is my first time watching the whole video. I saw this, and just based off of the first woman's video, I thought we was going to have a whole conversation, to have based off of what the first woman said. But now hearing this story, it's going in a whole different direction. Okay. But let's backtrack. The first woman said that 50% of the men that are married are unhappy with the choices that they made. Right? They're unhappy that those women that they made their wives are actually their wives. And I think that if we dig a little bit deeper into that conversation, we would need to ask those men who made those statements, or who said that, or wherever that woman got that information from. It sounds like she made it up. But if we dig a little deeper, it's because the majority of the men who feel that way are not in the relationship with the same woman that they first got into the relationship with. She done changed. Okay? She changed, and I'm not just talking about image-wise, age, having kids and stuff. I'm not even just talking about that. I'm talking about a lot of the things that we constantly talk about of the first things to go when a relationship gets a little bit more mature. After relationships get a little bit more mature, intimacy starts to kind of go south. The special things you used to do go south, and a lot of times when it comes to women, the respect aspect goes south. When they first get with the man, they just want to sit there and soak up all the knowledge that he has to give, and they're quick to listen and slow to speak. Like, they're just, these perfect, amazing specimens, right? They're like, oh no, I have one mouth and two ears. Like, I am here to learn. I am here to be taught. I am here to listen. Like, these are the women that we see in the beginning of the relationships, the beginning of the marriages. But then when things get locked in, sealed in, all of a sudden, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're saying. You always saying something. Oh my gosh, you're always talking. They get real irritated real quick. They get an attitude quick. They always huffing and puffing. They're looking at you and complaining about things instead of actually having civil conversations about things anymore. Things completely change. Completely change. Okay? And so I think if we go again back to what the first woman is saying, it's not because they felt like they made the wrong decision in the beginning. When they made the decision, it's because of the things that transpired after that changed their perspective, that made them think, oh, you know what? There was that one that got away, and it wasn't her. It was actually somebody else. Now, to go into what this woman is saying, right? She's like, oh my God, he dog walked her. I can't believe he said these things to a stranger that he does not know. Now, granted, he's very blunt. Okay, whoever this man is was very blunt, very matter of fact. He was not thinking about feelings when he's having this conversation. She asked a question and he gave her a real, authentic answer. Ironically, a lot of women are the ones who push for marriage. Majority of the time, it is women who are pushing to be married. They are also the ones who push to be divorced after they pushed and forced this man to get married to them. Just being honest, right? So once those women get into the marriage, like this woman was saying, she wants the fantasy. She wants Disney fairy tale. She wants, it to be, she was hoping for this romantic story that she could maybe write a book about one day. And this man gave her the real. He's like, I led this woman. I guided this woman. I raised her the rest of the way. I put a lot into her. Everything that she is because of all the work and effort that I put into this situation. And the only thing that he did was expose, as this woman said, that there are different reasons as to why people get married. But do you think that woman is upset that she's married to him based off of all the leadership that he has given to her? No. All of the knowledge and all of the raising, the growing, all that stuff that he has put into her? No, because that woman, if she's in her right mind, is going to be appreciative because she knows that nobody would have been willing to invest all of that time, energy, and or resources or direction into her, and she would not be who she is if it was not for him. What people don't talk about is that when a man is leading a woman, especially when it's a hard pull, right? Especially when that leadership comes with some trials and childhood traumas, and when a man is leading a woman and guiding her through that gaze, a lot of times it is hard for that same man to maintain the same amount of attraction that he had to that woman in the beginning when he was not having to put in so much effort. And that's just truth. It don't gotta feel good. It don't gotta be a fairy tale. It don't gotta be roses and lilies and leaping. And it don't have to be that. But there's beauty in somebody assisting somebody else and being the best version of themselves. There's beauty in that too. There is. And a lot of men don't get enough credit for that. Because there's a lot of men who have led, guided, and again, structured women's lives. And then when the woman becomes the woman that she wanted to be all this time, mind you, she wouldn't be that woman if it wasn't for his help. But when she gets there, then she's like, you didn't help me. No, I came like this. You didn't do anything. It was me. I'm the one who did it. You didn't do anything. and takes all of the effort that he's put in and acts like he did absolutely nothing, and then turns it around like she's the one that created the entire scenario for the relationship or the marriage to be fulfilling. There's a lot of men out here doing a whole bunch of work in these relationships on these women, and the only thing that the people see is the finished product, and they think the woman came that way. And more times than not, she did not come that way. So I think this man was just giving her the real, based off of my interpretation of the story. Okay? Because despite her not being his type, despite all of these things, what she wanted most was to be married, right? And that's what he gave her. He gifted her that. And he's still married to her. He's still providing for that household. He's still covering her, leading her, whatever. And who knows what she knows? Maybe she knows what he's doing. Maybe she's aware. Okay? But also, I think this woman is just a tad bit naive, because also, he is not going to tell you a glamorized story of his relationship, especially if he's a man who's still on the prowl. Okay? He's not going to tell you this fluff story, because what a lot of women do is a lot of women approach men and they say, oh, it was just innocent, it was harmless, we weren't flirting. And it's like, but at the same time, you're offering so much attention to this other person that you do not know. You don't know his mindset, his thought process, his intentions. And so, in the midst of him answering your question, he's still going to throw a little bit of bait out there and just see what happens. Well, you asked me something, so here you go, but let me still mix a little bit of bait out there. So, while you're saying dog walking, I mean, it's kind of contradictory to your story, because at the same time, you're a woman talking to this man that you do not know. Again, he just told you that he'd be out there, so you can't take every single word that he said to you about the entire situation and put it in your back pocket. Because again, he's still on the prowl. Okay? I wouldn't be surprised if you asked this man his type and he would have maybe described you, because again, he already said he's still on the prowl. But I think a lot of women need to come out of the fairy tale mindset when it comes to marriage. And yes, there are different marriages. There's transactional relationships. There are marriages based off of spirituality and religion. There's marriages based off of people being connected to one specific goal and like purpose-driven marriages. There are lifestyle marriages where people want to live a certain lifestyle. This person agrees, and so they are working towards that lifestyle. Like, there's so many different avenues of relationships. And so people need to understand that marriage is not one size fits all. But most importantly, people need to understand that marriages, when you're vetting, when you're courting, when you're going through the process of getting married, you need to be sure that your idea of what marriage is supposed to be and that person's idea of what marriage is supposed to be is in the same line. That it aligns. Not one person in a transactional relationship, one person in a spiritual relationship or religious relationship. One person in a loving relationship, and again, one person in a purpose-driven relationship. And I think the more that women will understand and go through things, they will understand that a lot of these things that they're fantasizing about and the things that they think matter so much at their younger age, they realize it is not that vital to a life partnership, to a marriage, to somebody who's going to be there and stand beside you. You have to look a lot deeper into things. Marriage is something that is as uncalculated as people make it. It's something that's extremely calculated. It's like a business contract for a reason. Both parties got to be on the same page. But I saw this video. I would love to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I, of course, will see you guys in the next one. Love you.